You ever had someone laugh at you for dreaming too big? For saying you were going to do something great? For declaring that you weren't going to live an average life like everyone else? Of course, you have. Because the second you dare to stand up, the second you say, "I want more," the world shows its teeth. They mock you, they doubt you, they whisper behind your back. Who does he think he is? That's how the game starts. You say you want to build an empire, and they roll their eyes. Highs. You say you're going to become rich, powerful, respected, and they smirk. They don't see your vision. They don't see your grind. They don't see the nights you stay up planning, the sacrifices you make, the hunger that keeps you awake while the rest of them sleep like sheep. They just see you now. Broke, starting from nothing. No flashy car, no mansion, no Rolex, just a vision. And in their world, that's laughable. Because most people are addicted to comfort, to mediocrity, to unrealistic goals. And when you rise up and say, F, realistic, I'm going all in, they get uncomfortable. Because deep down, they know they never had the balls to chase something that big. So what do? They mock you. They try to pull you back down. Not because you're wrong, but because you expose their weakness. Your ambition makes them realize how little they've done with their life. Your fire makes them feel cold inside, and rather than elevate themselves, they'd rather drag you back into their sad little circle of comfort, excuses, and mediocrity. But here's where it gets beautiful. If you don't quit, if you keep grinding, if you keep pushing past every failure, every setback, every insult, something flips. One day, the same people who laughed at you are the ones watching from the sidelines. You pull up in the car they said you'd never afford. You travel to the places they said were out of reach. You build the life they said was a fantasy. And now, they're silent. Their laughter is gone, replaced by awe, replaced by questions, replaced by begging to be part of your world. That's the power of patience. That's the power of relentless pursuit. That's the power of shutting your mouth and letting your results slap every hater in the face. Because when you win, you don't have to talk. Success is the loudest flex on the planet. They'll pretend they always believed in you. They'll DM you like nothing happened. They'll say, "I knew you had it in you." Bull-sh-t. They didn't believe in you. They just didn't expect you to make it, and now that you did, they're scrambling to get close to you, to get a piece, to act like they were part of it all along. You'll remember the laughs, the smirks, it's the silence when you needed support, and you'll smile, because now you're untouchable. You didn't just prove them wrong. You turned their doubt into fuel and burned it into a empire. So if you're in that phase right now, where no one believes in you, where everyone's laughing, where you feel alone, good. That means you're doing something big. That means you're on the right path. Let them laugh, let them doubt, let them sleep. You grind, you bleed, you rise. Because when you win, you will win, they'll come crawling. They laugh at you because they're scared, not of your failure, but of your success. You see, the average person has built their entire identity around being a loser. They get up, they go to work, they survive the week, and they rinse and repeat until they die. That's their reality. That's all they know. So when you show up and say, "I'm going to break that cycle. I'm going to get rich. I'm going to build something no one's ever seen before." They don't laugh because they think you're weak. They laugh because deep down they know they're weak, and your ambition makes them uncomfortable. It reflects everything they could have been but chose not to be. You're the walking, breathing reminder that they settled, that they gave up, that they made excuses, and instead of fixing that, they'd rather laugh at you, because mocking your ambition is easier than facing their own regrets. Look at the world right now. How many people do you know that said they were going to do something and never did it? How many people said they had a plan, but now they're still stuck in the same place, broke, whining, and blaming the government, their boss, or the economy for why they're not rich? It's not the system, it's them. But they don't want to admit that. They don't want to accept that their life is a direct reflection of their choices. So when someone like you shows up, someone with vision, with energy, with balls, they can't take it. They project. They try to sabotage. They laugh. That's their defense mechanism. So how do you respond? You don't. You don't explain yourself. You don't argue. You don't try to convince anyone of your vision. You let them laugh. You take that energy and you use it. You wake up earlier, you train harder, you work in silence, and you build. Because success isn't about proving them wrong, it's about proving you were always right. And then something funny happens. A few years pass. Suddenly your name starts popping up. You've got money, you've got options, you've got power. The people who used to clown on your pipe dreams are stuck in the same job, same city, same complaints. And now they're watching, quietly, from the sidelines, wondering how the hell you did it. And here's the truth. They didn't change. You did. You changed by refusing to stay broke. Hell, you changed by accepting pain, not avoiding it. You changed by choosing hard work over comfort. You didn't quit. That's the only difference. I've seen it 1,000 times. A broke kid says he's going to make it. Everyone laughs. Fast forward 5 years, he's driving the car everyone wanted. He's staying in hotels they can't pronounce, and the same people that laughed. They're now in his deep, bro, we should catch up. Hey, I got a business idea. Let's work together sometime. They'll act like they were always supporting you. They weren't. But now, Phil, now they want in, because people are wired to follow the winner. They don't respect ambition. They respect results. And the moment you win, everything flips. Your haters turn into fans. Your doubters become believers. And those who mocked you, they'll lie to themselves and say they always knew. But you'll know the truth. You'll remember every fake laugh, every sarcastic comment, every moment they made you feel like you were dreaming too big. And you'll sit back, smile, and understand one thing very clearly. That laugh was fuel. Let's talk about why most people never win, because they don't understand the price. They think success is about talent, about luck, about someone handing them an opportunity on a silver plate. They see the end result, the car, the watch, the private jet, but they never see the blood, the sacrifice. The nights you cried silently in your room, questioning if it's even worth it. The days you worked 14 hours and still felt behind. The pain of being mocked, ignored, doubted by your own family, your so-called friends, the world. Most people fold under that pressure. You won't. You can't. Because if you're trying to be great, if you're trying to win big, you're gonna walk through hell first. And the ones who laughed at you, they won't be there. You'll suffer alone. You'll work in silence. They'll say you disappeared. Yeah, you disappeared into the grind, into focus, into a level of obsession they're too soft to comprehend. You see, the journey to greatness is brutal. You lose people. You outgrow places. You destroy comfort. You kill weakness. The version of you that wins, that version isn't soft. That version was forged in fire. That version was born from rejection, from being the underdog, from staring at the mirror and deciding, no one's coming to save me, I'll become my own thing hero. Every top-level winner has a season where they eat alone, where they train in silence, where no one understands them. And during that season, they're being tested. The world is watching silently to see, will you quit like everyone else, or will you rise? And here's the truth. Most people don't have the stomach for it. They start something. It gets hard. No one claps. No one supports. So they fold. They go back to their sad little routine. But you're still going. You're still pushing. You're still grinding when there's no applause, no recognition, no external reward, because you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for war, for legacy, for the life you promised yourself. That's why the people who once mocked you, they can't understand how you kept going. They can't process your drive, because their entire life is controlled by validation. If no one's watching, they stop. But a true savage, a true winner, he gets more dangerous when no one's watching. He becomes a ghost, a phantom, moving in silence, leveling up in the dark until he's too big to ignore. And then he reappears, richer, sharper, ruthless. And suddenly the same people who once said he's crazy are now reposting your quotes. Now they want to be like you. Now they want advice. Because the world is addicted to winners. It hates you when you're climbing, but it worships you when you reach the top. That's the game. And if you're smart, you'll use it. Use their doubt. Use their laughter. Use their gossip. Let it push you. Let it sharpen you. Let it build you. Because when you finally arrive, when you win, and I mean really win, they won't be laughing anymore. They'll be watching, admiring, regretting. And by then it'll be too late. You want to know why most men are broke, weak, invisible? Because they spend their entire lives trying to fit in. They want to be liked. They want to be accepted. They want validation from people who aren't even winning. Imagine that. Living your whole life according to the opinions of losers, people who've never built anything, achieved nothing, and yet they feel entitled to judge your ambition. Let me tell you the truth. You were never meant to fit in. You were built to stand out. You were born to dominate. But the moment you try to be a normal, you kill the part of you that was built to be a king. You throw away your power, you surrender your edge, and you become exactly what they want you to be. Weak, predictable, average. And once you become average, they leave you alone. You're no longer a threat. Think about it. Society rewards conformity. Follow the rules. Sit down, shut up, don't challenge the system, stay in line. Go to school, get a job, work 40 years, retire on a pension, and then die. That's the script they want you to follow. And the moment you deviate, when you say a no, I want to build, I want to lead, I want to win big, you become dangerous. And they try to suppress you. You're arrogant, delusional, too intense. They'll say you've changed. Of course you changed, you evolved, you escaped the trap, and they didn't. But this is where most people fold. They get scared, they start watering themselves down to make other people comfortable. They start playing small just to get approval from people who secretly envy them. They lose their fire, their hunger, their edge, and they wonder why they're stuck. Let me give you a cold truth. If your life looks like everyone else's, you've already lost. Winners are not normal. They don't think like the herd. They don't act like the masses. They walk into a room and shift the energy. People either love them or hate them, but no one ignores them. Because power doesn't beg. Power doesn't ask permission. Power doesn't care who gets uncomfortable. You want to rise? You have to learn to be unapologetically dominant. You have to move different. You have to develop a mindset so sharp, so savage, so relentless that the average person can't even have a conversation with you without feeling exposed. Not because you're being rude, but because your presence alone reminds them they settled. They're partying, you're building. They're sleeping, you're grinding. They're scrolling, you're stacking. That's the difference. That's why you win. And here's the irony, they'll laugh at you while you're building. But when the mansion's finished, the Lambo's parked, the passport's stamped, and your phone's buzzing with cash flow every day, they'll pretend they always supported you. They'll act like they believed in you from day one, but you'll remember. You'll remember how they looked at you when you said, I'm going to be rich. You'll remember the silence, the sarcasm, the fake encouragement. And that memory, that's your fuel. So, here's what you do. Stop trying to fit in. Stop explaining yourself. Stop seeking permission. Stop seeking permission. Winners don't blend in. They stand the F out. They polarize. They lead. They dominate. You either build your legacy or you become part of someone else's. And if you're not ready to piss people off by becoming powerful, you're not ready to win. The reason most people stay broke, stay average, stay invisible is because they never take full responsibility. That's it. They blame the government, they blame their parents, they blame the economy, they blame their boss, they blame their ex. It's always someone else's fault. Always some outside force holding them down. And that's exactly why they're stuck, because they've outsourced their power. You see, the second you blame anything or anyone for your situation, you've already lost. You've handed over control. You've told the universe, I'm weak. I'm a victim. I don't have the power to change my life. And the universe listens. It gives you more reasons to suffer, more excuses, more mediocrity. But the killers, the elite, the top 1%, they don't blame. They own it. Every failure, every loss, every setback, they claim it like it's a trophy. Because they understand one truth. If it's your fault, then it's your responsibility to fix it. And if it's your responsibility to fix it, that means you have the power. You crashed your business? Good. Learn, rebuild, dominate. You were broke last year? Good. Stack more this year. Outwork every man around you. You wasted your 20s partying? Fine. Lock in now. Become a beast in your 30s and crush everyone. No one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your boss, not your girl, not the system. It's all on you. And if you can't stomach that, if you can't look in the mirror and say, I'm the problem, then you'll never become the solution. Let me make this brutal and clear. If you're not rich, you're the reason. If you're not jacked, you're the reason. If your life sucks, it's because you let it. Winners understand this on a spiritual level. They don't cry about fairness. They don't wait for handouts. They wake up every single day and they attack. They wake up and ask, what can I do today to be dangerous? What weakness can I destroy? What version of myself must die today so a better one can be born tomorrow? Responsibility is the real flex. Not cars, not followers, not designer clothes. Responsibility, because the man who owns everything, his wins and his losses, is untouchable. No one can manipulate him. No one can shame him. No one can cancel him. Why? Because he controls the frame. He controls the outcome. He controls himself. You want power? Start by taking responsibility for everything, even the things that weren't your fault, especially those. Because once you make that shift, you stop reacting and you start creating. You stop surviving and you start winning. And guess what? The world fears a man like that. A man who doesn't flinch. A man who doesn't break. A man who says, I'll fix it, even when everything's on fire. That's the real top G mentality. You become the rock, the storm, the force that can't be ignored. You become the man they write about, not the one begging for scraps. So next time you want to complain, remember this. Every second you spend blaming is a second you could have used to build. And in this world, builders win. See, everyone wants to win. Everyone says they want to be successful, rich, respected, admired. But then you look at how they live, and it's a joke. They say they want millions, but they can't even stay off social media for 30 minutes. They want to build an empire, but they party every weekend like they've already made it. They want discipline, but they can't even get up without hitting snooze 3 times. Let me explain something. The universe does not reward desire. It rewards obsession. It rewards sacrifice. And it rewards single-minded savagery. You want to rise? You want to dominate? Then you need to burn the ships. Remove plan B, destroy distractions, obsess. While others were chilling, relaxing, chasing dopamine, he was building every second, every breath, every thought aligned with one outcome, victory. That's the difference. A loser has 15 goals and finishes none of them. A killer has one goal and lets it consume him. He becomes the goal. He becomes the mission. Every meal, every workout, every conversation, every dollar, strategic, calculated, aligned. Because when you're obsessed, you start seeing opportunities others miss. You start building when they're sleeping. You start studying when they're scrolling. You start becoming the version of yourself that makes average men uncomfortable just by existing. Obsession sharpens your mind like a weapon. It forces you to master time. It makes you say no more than yes. No to distractions, no to comfort, no to mediocrity. You cut everything that doesn't move you closer to the goal. And the weak, they call it a toxic, they call it unhealthy. Of course they do, because they can't relate. They don't have the fire, they never will. But here's the secret, the longer you stay obsessed, the more the world bends to your will. Money starts flowing, people start following, power becomes natural, because you stayed locked in long enough for your results to become undeniable. You want that? Then make your life boring. Build such elite discipline that your schedule becomes sacred. Wake up early, train like a beast. Read like a scholar, work like a machine, stack cash like a banker, protect your energy like it's gold. Every single minute you waste, somebody else is using it to outpace you, to outperform you, to outwork you. And when the time comes to compete, they'll win. Not because they're better, but because they were more obsessed. Let me make it crystal clear, obsession isn't optional. It's mandatory. Without it, you're soft. You're distracted. You're replaceable. So here's your test. Audit your life. Look at your daily routine. Look at what you prioritize, what you think about, what you do when no one's watching. Does it reflect obsession? Or does it reflect obsession? Or does it reflect comfort? Because only one of those gets you to the top. Only one creates kings, and the other keeps you broke, invisible, and forgotten. So become obsessed with growth, with excellence, with domination. Make it your identity. Because in a world of half-hearted effort, the obsessed man becomes unstoppable. Now you know, Tate, this isn't some fairy tale feel-good nonsense. This is the real game. The world doesn't care about your tears. It doesn't care about your trauma. It doesn't care how you feel. It only respects results. And you either produce or you perish. That's the truth. You either rise or you rot. No one's coming to hand you greatness. You take it with blood, with sweat, with a savage hunger they can't understand. The life you want, the power, the respect, the freedom, it's all there, waiting. But it comes at a cost most men will never pay. They'll choose comfort over legacy. Excuses over execution, distraction over destiny, but not you. Because now the veil is lifted. You've seen the blueprint, you've tasted the fire, and deep down, something in you knows you were never meant to live average. So don't just sit there. Move, train, build, attack. Do whatever it takes to rise. Because if you don't, one day you'll wake up surrounded by regrets, surrounded by failure, surrounded by the weaker version of yourself you were too afraid to destroy. And that version, he'll hate you for letting him live. This world isn't for the soft, It's for killers. For kings. For those who dominate. So be one of them. And when they doubt you, when they laugh, when they say you're too intense, smile. Because one day they'll beg to join you. But by then, you'll already be at the top. Alone. Unmatched. Untouchable. Welcome to the war zone. Now go win it.